Hey, this is Joe Daniels. I just got back from teaching a couple of VR animation workshops in Europe, and I'm really excited to share one demo that I gave while I was at the animation workshop in Denmark. In this demo, over the course of about 30 or 40 minutes, we started from no story idea and generated storyboards for a story, and I hope you'll enjoy watching this as much as I had fun creating it.
Let's think about this. What kind of a short little story can we tell? Just throw out some ideas. I'll write them down. A lizard. Okay, cool. So we've got a lizard character. And forgive my terrible handwriting, but a pug. Oh my daughter would be in heaven if I did something with a pug. Okay. What other creatures, objects, things, scenarios? Was that swimming pool? Ooh, great. Um, my handwriting is not much better outside of VR. All right, so what else? A thunderstorm. Great. What else could we potentially draw? Tell a story about. So we've got some locations and some characters. What's something that somebody could be doing? Pug is a bartender. Okay. What else we got? Lizard is a lifeguard. All right. Sorry, it was fewer lines. What else? Just let's throw out some ideas. Maybe somebody maybe start connecting these or just do a premise off of one of them. Doesn't have certainly don't want to use all of them, but that's a good one. So evacuating the pool, swimming pool evac. And why was there an evacuation? Well, sometimes stuff happens. We don't have to stick with any of these. If somebody wants to throw out a completely new idea, tending bar underwater, a blowfish as a customer. Actually, I think I've got an idea of what we could do maybe for this. All right, I'm just trying to think of how we tell it. Okay, let's let's try something. All right, so I'm gonna just grab a new layer and let's start to begin. Let me see. So we need a bar. Yep, need a bar. And well, let's just kind of quickly sketch in something so that we know where the ground is. Maybe we've got, oh, we need some stools, right? So, yep. And then, of course, I could draw that again, or I could just do that. Great. All right, so we've got this. Let's get some, oh, like some lights going on. All right, cool. So we've got a bar, we've got some lights. We're gonna do our bartender. So let me take this. I'm just gonna name this background. Love that. All right, so we've got our background. Maybe I'll take that down a little bit. I'll make a new layer. And the bartender. So I think, let's see, should the bartender be a fish? I don't know. Maybe it's a human with like gills. Wouldn't that'd be kind of fun. Um, all right, so we've got our bartender. And maybe he's got like a little mustache. And all right. And let's see, I'm trying to think like they go with like the traditional vest type of deal. There we go. And what happens if I rotate it? Well, right now, if I rotate it, I drew it kind of flat. But part of the reason that I did that is that it's so easy to just pull this out in 3D space. And you know what? Maybe it might be kind of fun to imagine that you know, we build in some of these fish-like shapes. We give him like a very fish lip kind of, and then we'll give him just some simple scales or gills. Yeah, okay. And it's always kind of nice to add like some highlights there. Okay, cool. So he's got a mouth. Maybe I can shape his nose a little better. There we go. All right, so I kind of sketched him in here. And let's see, let's just kind of make this relatively simple. We're gonna have him holding a bottle. Oop, there we go. That is a huge bottle. That is my bottle later tonight. Okay, there, that's more reasonable. All right, so we've got him just kind of holding this bottle. And maybe he's, yeah, okay. He's getting ready to pull it out, I guess with his fingers or something. Oh, you know what? Not his fingers, because he's an underwater bartender. We will have him use his claws. Cool. That's kind of fun. I like that. That's great. It's a half man, half fish. Okay, cool. Great. So we've got him, and okay. So I think what I'm going to do is really quick. I'm going to make this my character. Whoop. I'm going to keep this pretty simple for tonight, and yeah, I'm going to draw everything on the same layer essentially. And I'm going to work really quick. So with storyboarding this, I kind of know that my shots are going to be kind of more on this side. So I don't necessarily have to make it work perfectly from every direction, but I will go in maybe, let's give him, to make it obvious so that the viewer sees it right away. Yeah, some really nice kind of pinky lobster claw shapes. And then I think maybe for his skin, I'm gonna go with like a very blue, it's a blue collar guy, blue face guy. I am, yeah, I can pull it all around. I can grab it and pull it towards me, or I can use both hands and scale it up. I can make him, like right now, he's the size of Godzilla, you know, up there. And then right now, even though he's probably about the same size on screen or similar, he's actually like a hand puppet size. And howdy, 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 right? Yeah, and then I'm just kind of extruding this paste into the scene, and then maybe let's give him some proper fish lips. There we go. Now I believe that this is a bartender under the sea. Cool. I am going to just save really quick. And, oh, maybe let's give our environment a little bit of a color as well. And I could just grab a big brush with my line tool and then draw a couple of strokes out here. And maybe let's bring our opacity up. Cool. The chairs and the environment are all in one. That's a really great question. So if I put my mouse over this, you can see that it will make blink everything that's on one layer. And what's crazy is I get asked a lot, how do you know like where to click? You know, because when you're looking at the screen, you might think I'm touching his claw there or there. You know, it's not. It's kind of there. So in stereo vision, it's actually very clear, you know, to me. If you only have one eye, it's hard to see the depth. But in here, it's actually very easy. If I want to touch the lip, I can basically just know that right there, you know, it is. I don't have to think about it, and that's one of the great things. Good question. Oh, and I did forget. Let's throw in our bottle. Okay, it's a bottle of fish sauce. I don't know. What is that? Okay, cool. So we've got this. Now we need to make a fish. We're gonna do that pretty quickly, just so we don't take too much time. And okay, so what kind of fish were we talking about? A blowfish, right? Yeah, 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 totally. All right, so for that, I'm gonna work pretty loose and um, just kind of block him in, and maybe draw a circle from this side so I can get an idea. And then what do they have? I guess I should be looking at some reference, but I mean certainly they've got these things, right? In fact, if I find one that I like that I drew, I can get this like stamp tool and then just start putting those around. And let's maybe I don't know, what kind of expression should this guy have? So he's, what's that? He seems very curious. I mean, we can change that. Make him angry. So he's, give me a drink. What's that? Other ideas? I'm open to anything. Sorry, I didn't hear. Flirtatious. He's flirting with the bartender. Got to get the free drinks. Yeah, I can totally see that. You know, the greatest thing is there's that word that most art students, including myself, have always hated, which is foreshortening. And foreshortening being like drawing something in depth, how difficult that is. Foreshortening does not exist in VR because nothing. You draw it in depth and you see it. So I really find that certain concepts like it does help me with when I am drawing in VR. It helps my normal drawing. But yeah, I tend just not to want to draw as much outside of VR. Um, Even though I like drawing. Now, drawing for me, actually, I should say, to be honest, and I tell this to people, drawing is the hardest thing that I do. This is not, I know some people that just naturally they just draw and anything comes out great, but it's very hard for me, and I find that VR for me is what I always wished drawing was. Cool. So yeah. So what were we deciding that he is? He's flirtatious. I like that a lot, actually. I think it's going to play in nice with the little story that I haven't yet told you guys. Right. So this is the coolest thing, and this is the phrase that I think always blows people's minds. Is I'm posing my drawing. Usually you draw poses, but I'm drawing a drawing, and now I'm posing that drawing, which is crazy concept. All right, so we're gonna do maybe something like this. Let's get a slightly darker color. Red lipstick. Why does it have to be a girlfish? Oh, wow, you got me right back. It's true. It's true. And yeah, let's go something like that. So let's maybe kind of yeah. And then let's do I'll highlight on it. And then it's so great. I mean, what's fun about this is he's like, mm. Right? And he's oh, so much fun. I've got the fish. Fish is hopefully all on its layer. Good. All right, so I think what we need to do, and I'm going to treat this from here on kind of more like a storyboard, so it's going to be a pretty low frame rate thing. I'm going to take the fish. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to move the fish so it's off screen. And then let's do this. We're going to have the fish swim in. All right, are you ready? Right? Um, so let's see. I'm going to take my frame rate down from 24 frames a second to maybe something like 8 frames a second. And let's see. This is probably still going to be a little bit too fast, but right. And then maybe we'll take this last drawing and just hold it until it's awkward, right? Okay. So now I'm just going to go through and I'm adding some time to some of these drawings. Okay, now let's play this and just see how this feels. I actually like that last little bump in. Um, Maybe let's hold that just a little bit longer. Yeah, okay, great. So I've had some fun here. I've animated this fish a little bit, and then we can do fun things as well with the fish's body, um, like wag the tail this way, and then wag the tail that way, and this way, and that way, and then let's have some fun. And then let's do something fun with the eyes. Or maybe instead of smiling further, should kind of I don't know, maybe that's too far. Oh, actually, that's good. It blows a little kiss. That was an accident. I thought I had it on the. Okay, so let's make that even clearer. So she's just blowing a kiss. Hey, honey. That's funny. Oh man. So actually, let's record some fish sound. So if you were making a storyboard thing, you'd have to dig out the mic, you'd have to set it up, you'd have to go to some program. I'm glad I don't have to do that today. So I'm going to add a little audio thingy here, and maybe I'll just kind of stick it in this spot. And I'm going to arm, and then, okay, let's see what we can do. All right, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but let's make sure that the fish just kind of holds that pose. And let's get nice and close in here. All right. Right? Oh, this is great. The master volume, yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, yeah. And you can also mute it if we don't want to hear it every time, because it'll probably get pretty annoying. But okay, I think this is great. So I think without dragging this out too far, what do we think we should do with this guy? I could use some opinions. How is our manfish going to react? Perfect. Actually, that is perfect. And it lets us do something else with this that I've wanted to do as well. Okay, cool. So what was your name? Yeah, Emilio. Thank you very much. Let's think about this. So, yeah, I may end up having to turn that off. But let's actually start him out not looking at the fish. So I've got a duplicate version of this drawing, and instead let's have him start just looking this way. And we could have him maybe a little bit more content, I guess. And yeah, he's kind of just like surveying the joint. All right, so let's think about that pose. How long does that last? Not too long. So maybe have it. As soon as he hears the sound, I think that's actually a good cue. I'm going to turn that volume way down. All right, so as soon as he does that, let's make sure, yep, it's going to hold after that. So here, that's kind of perfect, right? And I don't even have to go in too crazy, but if we wanted to do something to kind of spice up that transition, oops, we could have him start to turn his head. And okay, and then now I think I know what I kind of want to do here, and I'm just going to do this very, I guess, cheaply, and I am going to turn off this audio. Maybe we'll mute it for now. All right, so once he gets into this pose, we're going to hold this until it gets a little bit awkward, which I think that's about there, and then let's have him. Yep. Oops. Yeah. It's okay. This is just a quick storyboard, so the fact that it's getting a little distorted is totally fine. All right, so let's see this. I actually kind of like that. And so I'm seeing something that's just a nice happy accident is how he starts leaning back, and then that last drawing, he kind of lifts up, almost like he's trying to pull his lips away from her. And yeah, let's even kind of push that a little further. And then now we need that pose. All right, I'm thinking it's about here. So we're gonna do one beat before the popping of the cork, and that is just going to be very simply a blink. Okay. So we've set up this kind of quick, sharp blink that he does. So we're going to build up a little bit of contrast here by switching over to the fish. Blink. Yeah, I think this is right about the right time. And we're going to do the slowest possible blink, right? That real sexy. Got two eyeballs. And this is where you can have a ton of fun. And as an animator, I just love like the little acting discoveries that can happen. I'm going to get rid of those eyeballs, and I'll probably need to. Oh yeah, that's good. Just kind of close that down. Maybe let's draw in. We're almost done here, actually. Believe it or not. And then let's copy this, paste. And I think actually here for me, this is like one of the funny parts is I love when people say things with their eyes. Okay, and then almost there. Okay. So let's take a look at how this reads. There's that last little look back up, right? Um, so we definitely have sold that she is, or he is, really interested. Cool. All right, so then the next beat, you know what? This deserves like there's these moments that usually, oh, I don't know, actors and animators sometimes just like to milk forever, and I think this is just one of them that's totally worth it. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So now that we've built up to this moment, we have all this nervous tension between these two characters. We're going to hold that a little bit. I think probably right about there is where I want the cork to pop. All right, so around frame 66. Okay. And okay, let's do this fairly simply. I hope I'm on the right layer. Yep, my character. And I must be stepping out of tracking range. Okay. Cool. And actually, I'm going to do one more frame where essentially I want to get that little like squash and stretch in here. Just a touch. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. All right, so that's a little slow. And I think it's a little long. Okay, I think this is going to be about right. And then let's record that sound because I think that's going to Ooh, that was a good one. Got a new sound clip. Stick it right over here. I'll arm it and then go. Oh, we got some birds. Let's see if that is loud enough. Don't know that that was loud enough, but yeah, it definitely would be better with a louder pop, wouldn't it? Let's see what we got. Okay. Cool. Actually, it kind of works. You know, I can always record something later, so that's good. All right, let's save it. And now is actually going to be the most fun part that people usually like seeing. So I'm going to add an empty layer right here. Actually, not right there, but yeah, right there is going to be the start of this layer. Yep, lined up correctly. I'm going to grab kind of some, I guess, a bubbly color, champagne-y bubbly color. And we have this tool that will essentially let us do something really cool. And I think that's going to be good. I'm going to go like this. All right. It looked like it stopped recording after a little bit. So let's try this again. Okay. Yeah. Oh, last one. Let's, I'm just going to add some empty frames in case I need more bubbles. But yeah, it's pretty crazy because I can just keep drawing. Great. All right, so maybe I'll take down the transparency of that layer so that they feel a little bit more like bubbles. Yep. Let's turn up our volume just a little bit more, and let's watch the whole thing now. Cool. So I'm just going to set these bubbles to not loop, but to only play that one time. There we go. All right, and there we go. So we just told a story, a very short story, right? But we told a 10-second story, animated with effects and a fish and an environment. If I want, I can export a video of this. I could export a VR experience that you could check out. I could do a 360 video, or I could export this as an Alembic file. It could be brought into Maya, for those of you who are familiar with 3D. And you could use this as a basis for starting to build a set and design characters, and the entire pipeline can kind of benefit.
If you enjoyed that and want to see more, leave a comment and let me know. Some people have mentioned wanting to see streams of this kind of thing, and I haven't really done anything like that before, but I would be open to the idea, so let me know. Thanks, and happy animating.